So here we have a 2010 Mazda 2. It's got 68,000 miles on the clock and it's the 1.5 petrol engine. So it's come in today for a service, and as part of the service I'm going to be carrying out an engine oil and filter change. I'll start by doing the usual, if I can. Take the oil filler cap off, pull the dipstick up, just to let the air back into the engine while it drains down. The oil filter on this engine is a metal canister spin-on filter, which is right down the bottom, which you will see shortly once we've taken it up in the air. Right, so underneath the car you can see here, oh yeah, that's good, it's not too tight. Here's the oil filter which just spins on, and round here we've got the sump plug, which on this engine is a 19mm. So I'm going to use my single hex 19mm socket on there, less chance of slipping. Drain pan ready. It's quite a hot engine, so this may blast out, so make sure you hold up quite close. That's not too bad. So it's going to take a little while to drain down. So we'll just, once it slows down a bit, I'll put this on the floor and let it do its thing. Right, so oil filter removal. There are numerous different tools you can use to take these off. That's my general go-to, just a big pair of slide grips. You can get a strap that goes around with a socket attachment that grips it tight and undoes it. You can get a cup that slots on the bottom, a chain. There's quite a few different tools you can pick up, but as you saw, luckily this one is hand tight. So you will get some oil out of this, so be ready. Right, I'll attempt to take that off now and stand it on the drainer. It's always difficult knowing how long that thread is. There we go. That's it. So I'll stick that down there. Something to look out for, make sure the O-ring seal is still in the oil filter. Sometimes, I mean that one's, it does move about, but sometimes they get stuck on the engine, so you just got to be aware that the oil seal has come off as well. If it hasn't, take it off. As you can see, that's pretty clean, that's fine, but it's quite easy to leave a seal stuck on there and then screw your new filter on, and obviously that's going to leak. So we'll let that carry on draining for a little bit. There's still some coming out of the sump there. So one new oil filter, and as you can see on there, it does say apply oil to the seal face. Clean seating area, which we've done, tighten by hand, which we will do, and 4 and 5 we will do as well. So I'm just going to get a bit of the old engine oil, put a smear of that around the seal, that's all you need. that should do nicely. Give that oil a few more minutes because it is still trickling out, and then we'll get the sump bung back in next. So this sump plug, as you can see, it's got a washer on it. The sealing face, the shiny bit, looks fine, but I will recommend perhaps a new plug and a washer next year, because it's that's been in and out a few times by the looks of it. We'll just have to get that back in, nip it up, and then once the job's over, make sure it doesn't leak. I'm sure it'll be fine. That's it, lovely. Okay, next we'll drop it down and get some oil back in. Okay, so with the dipstick still up, so hopefully we won't get any airlocks whilst pouring the oil in. It's fill quantity for this engine is 3.9 litres, I'm told. So I'm going to start with 3.5 litres, run it up, let it stand for 3 or 4 minutes and dip it and see where it's at on the dipstick. It's a lot easier just to keep adding dribs and drabs to top it up to the maximum, rather than putting in the specified amount and then finding that it's over the maximum. Too much oil can cause damage to the engine, and you just end up having to crawl back underneath and drain it down again. So I'm going to try and avoid that situation. Fingers crossed. Right, so we'll fire that up and just let it tick over. You don't need to rev it. And make sure your oil pressure light goes out, which has gone out pretty much straight away. It's not really a great idea to rev an engine that's been drained of oil and then refilled, because it can take a few seconds to circulate and get the pressure back up. So I want you to let them tick over like this. Sounds fine. Right, we'll let that stand for 3 or 4 minutes and check on the dipstick where the level's at. Right, so it's stood for 3 or 4 minutes now. Clean the dipstick off and see what level we're at. As you probably already know, there are quite a few different grades of oil. So when you go to your factors to get the parts, they should be able to recommend the right grade for your particular engine. And as you can see, that's halfway between the minimum and maximum, the 2 little holes in the dipstick. So I'm just going to carry on adding small quantities and keep repeating the process, just keep checking it. You don't have to run the engine again because the oil's already circulated and filled up the filter. So really just keep adding little bits and double checking. That'll do. I'll leave that for 3 or 4 minutes and try again. Okay, so dipstick removed and cleaned off. It's stood for a couple of minutes now. I'm hoping that'll be near the mark. Yes, you can see there that's just a fraction under the maximum, which is a good place to be. As this stands, the longer it stands, obviously it will creep up fractionally, so that's fine. We don't want to add any more oil to that. So I get that back in, oil filler cap on. Just about brings the job to an end, but I will give it a run round the road, double check the oil filter tightness, just put your hand on it and make sure it's nipped up, and make sure there's no leaks from the sump bung or oil filter. Thanks for watching. If you find our videos helpful, please hit like and subscribe to help us out. Nice one.